Hello everyone, this is GameBros64. I'm bringing you guys a Storm level 130 deck, probably not deck, but gear setup for my main man, Zaheer. I unfortunately cannot get this gear because stupid Storm Titans being unfair, but Zaheer was able to manage to get all of this, so we're going to go ahead and showcase the setup on his wizard, and he's going to go through and show you every beautiful thing about it. So go ahead, Zaheer, take it away.
Hello, everybody, and thank you, Jared, for that wonderful introduction. This is my first time on GameBros64's channel, and I want to give a shout out to the guy who's running the channel before we get into the gear setup. And I want to let all you YouTubers know that this is a really awesome effort that this dude is putting out. He's done some really amazing videos, and I hope this one benefits Storm Wizards out there. Alright, so here we go. I want you all to see that the base damage on this setup is 145%. It's not going to go any lower than that. You can get it higher than that, but you are going to sacrifice some of the other stats, which we will get to. So together with your 145% base damage, you have a resistance of 24% across the board to all schools. You have storm accuracy of 36%, and we all know that historically storm wizards do have a bit of a problem with fizzling sometimes. So both Jared and I have decided to get this accuracy over 25, over 30 as much as possible. So we've gotten this one up to 36%. And we're switching across to your crit, and my crit stands at 839 points, which gives me a total crit hit of 100%. So yes, Storm Wizards, every spell critical. Even your healing current, if in a pinch, you have to throw one. The block rating is not great on this setup, I must say. It stands at 60 across the board, 96 for Shadow because of something I have in, which is just really a 1% block. So hopefully you will kill quickly enough before they start hitting you with big crit spells. The other thing that we consider important here is your armor piercing, because as we are getting further into the game, most of the bosses come with a high resistance factor. So this setup gives me an armor piercing of 28%. It could go higher, like I said, the same with the damage, but you would sacrifice some of the other stats. And our basic aim with this setup is to maintain the most balanced, effective set of statistics that we can have for a level 130 Storm Wizard. You will notice here that I have an incoming heal factor of 27%, which is important because Storm also does not have the highest base health value. This setup that I'm running has me at about 5,500 health. You would realize off the bat that any Ice Wizard is gonna really outdo that in health. So this is why your incoming needs to be a little higher than you normally might have it. I want you to take particular attention to the power pip percentage. It's 106%. And this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is something most people don't think about. The higher your power pick percent, if you get it over max, over 100, then you are not going to be sitting around as long as you might have to wait on the power picks to allow you to hit. With this setup, if you get a shadow pip off the bat, you can pretty much be hitting with bugs in one round. And if you spend one round getting blades, and 2 rounds, you're gonna kill. Power pip chance is at 449 points, which is a 25% conversion rate. And my shadow pip bonus is at 9%. So I want to take you through each individual piece of gear, and we're going to start by looking at the hat. And my hat is my Stormy Paradox Conical, which gives me a 12% power pip chance 4% Shadow Pip, contributes to the accuracy at 9%, and right now it's running the highest damage rating of any Storm Hat in the game at 29%. It's running 159 critical, which you will get on other pieces of gear. You would get higher, but you wouldn't get as much damage. I'm going to switch to the Robe. Believe it or not, folks, at level 130, Storm is still using the level 100 Malistaire Cloak of Flux as the best damage robe for Storm in the game. We hope and we pray that if another world comes out anytime in the near future, they're going to give us something that can beat the Malistaire robe. But for now, the 27% damage coupled with 14% universal resist and 115 crit points makes this robe a must-have for your questing at the higher level. And of course, we know that it gives 9% power pip chance as well, 2% shadow pip chance. Moving on to the boots, we have thrown out the boots from the first part of Imperia, and we're now running the Stormy Paradox boots, which maxes out at 33% damage boost and 133 crit points, and also gives us a nice little 6% general resist and a 9% increase to power pip chance. The wand of choice is not actually the Stormy Paradox wand, which is the biggest damage one at 20%, but we'd prefer to use the Witch Hunter's Arbalest, which you can get in the Witch Hunter's bundle, purely because of the crit rating on this at 132 crit points, a 6% pierce boost, 12% damage, and the best thing about this wand, in a pinch, the Maycast is a mass poison spell. So could you imagine if you're fighting, for example, you're running the Malistaire dungeon and you're farming the blade from the first boss in the last part, which is Yevgeny Night Creeper. And he's got all of those shields on all of his minions. You get a wand hit and a Maycast poison, and that's going to take care of all of your shields. Or even if you're running the plant dungeon, the Aphrodite, where you've got to hit one of the tendons every round. If you throw up a wand and you get a Maycast, you're pretty much covered for 3 rounds of hitting. So this is why this wand is our go-to wand for questing purposes. The knife that we're using, the Athame, is the Athame from that same fight in the last part of Darkmoor, the Dragon's Talon of Tumult. The reason we're using this Athame is because it gives 16% power pip chance, coupled with 15% incoming health. The Aphrodite dagger gives you 2% more damage, but this one gives you more power pip and incoming, plus it gives you that triangle socket, and I have a 10% power pip chance gem socket in there, and I've used the 2 circle sockets to put 2 additional pierce gems in at 6% each. Now, this is level 100 gear that you can farm for at that first boss, Yevgeny, the last part of Darkmoor. The Amulet, I'm currently running Flygob's Medallion, which you get from Shane Von Shane in the second part of Darkmoor, the Shane Von Shane in vampire form. There is the option to probably use the one from Morgant, but for my purposes, I never got that, so I've got the Shane Von Shane one. It gives 35 crit points and 4% pierce, together with 4% universal resist, and it also gives you a shadow shield, which will come in very handy in a pinch, because if you've been farming Storm Titans, as we have, to get all of this gear, you realize he's using shadow versions of bugs, shadow versions of Stormlord, shadow versions of most of the Storm spells. So the shield could come in pretty handy in a pinch. The ring, to round off the actual gear set, is the Monsoon Ring, commonly known as the Mimic Ring. Now we know that everybody says the Stormy Paradox Ring gives more crit points and just loses 1% damage. But the reason we're using the Mimic Ring is because of that 12% incoming heal. It gives a little 2% more, and it gives that 1 more damage. So we balance it off, because when I show you my pet, you'd see what allows me to give up those 8 crit points. So your ring of choice, the ring from the Mimic. I will do the deck before I jump to my pet. The deck is the Stormy Paradox deck because of that 58 crit points. That in itself makes the deck worth it. It is a pain to get. It was a hell of a battle and a hell of a struggle. It took me about 3 weeks before I got it. But it's worth it because of that high critical contribution, And to my pet, which rounds this off nicely for me. You will notice that I'm running a quad critical double damage Spark Beast. And it's important that you get your stats maxed out on the pet. And because of this, I have quad crit pet, so I can sacrifice some of the critical rating on my other pieces of gear because I'm making up for it on the pet. And then I have Storm Dealer in there and Storm Giver socketed in. So apart from all the crit that I'm getting, my pet is also giving me 16% damage towards my total. I have not been lucky enough to get the Storm Gulcher, so I am running the balanced one, which gives me 2% towards my entire damage output. So basically what you have in this entire setup, what is contributing to the high power pip percentage of 106 is I'm using all of my triangle sockets on my deck, on my ring, on my theme to put in power pip gems. Each of them at 10%. You can get those gems for arena tickets outside of the arena by one of the vendors, and that is what really puts your power pip percentage over the top. Now all of the gear, specifically the Amulet, which has 2 square sockets, the ring, which has 1, the theme doesn't have one, but the wand has 1 as well. So that's about 4 or 5 square sockets. You can socket in gems according to what your choice is. You can put in the flat resist gems, which you can buy with arena tickets to boost your resistance. Or since the block rating is low on this setup, you could put in block boosting gems. Or what I'm going to go for is to get the incoming heal boost gems. So when my life support wizard heals me, I get a little more oomph out of the heal. Now I know a lot of you are gonna say that this setup is only 145 damage, but you've got to think about it like this. With the max crit and the 28% armor piercing, you are effectively doing a hit that is better than one with higher damage and less crit. We can raise the damage on this setup to over 150, to almost 160, but then we'd be sacrificing max critical. So if your hit doesn't critical, you're really losing that extra oomph, because a crit hit pretty much doubles the damage that your hit would do. So this is why, in my humble opinion, and in Jared's humble opinion, we think that this might be the most balanced setup that you can run for your Storm Wizard. That's about what I have to say. I don't know if Jared has anything he wants to add.
That was good. That was definitely good. Another thing I would like to weigh in for one of the square sockets. It's highly recommended if you're a Darkmoor fan or anything like that. Run at least one with a 5 stun res. You see on my amulet to the left, it has 5 stun res already in it. The reason for that is because if you're using things like a, let me see if I have the card on me. I say it in all my videos, but yeah, TC Conviction has 95 stun res, so if you're running the first part of Darkmoor, when you throw a blade, you get stunned. It's important to pop this up so you don't get stunned, you don't waste turns, and then of course the 5 stun res on your gear will give you that 100% so you're never stunned. Also, another important thing about that fight is if someone does get stunned, because that 5% just happens to get them, everyone who doesn't have 100% stun resist instantly gets stunned. So that 5% doesn't just screw over you, it screws over your entire team. So it's important to have 5 stun res when you're in that fight on your gear, as well as throwing TC Conviction. So that's my little say on it, that I felt like you missed just barely, but everything else is perfect. And I love how you stressed incoming. Definitely like that. Storm does have low health, so high incoming is very good. So when the healer goes to heal you, you get more healing in. Just repeat that over and over and over, and it will start to make sense that, hey, I want more incoming. So, anywho, thank you Zaheer so much for this setup. Thank you for showcasing it for me. And YouTube, we'll see you guys in another video. Thanks for watching.